Right, back again. Quick recap. Last week we got fertilizers going, and that's where the weird substance comes from. That's the stuff we're using today. This week it's mazes, so let's get into it. First job, let's read what the game actually says about mazes. And there's a little bit of code in the notes here I can just copy straight out, and that's the start of my maze function. So I'll drop that in. Let's go through what it's doing. First line, it plants a bush. That's the seed the whole maze grows out of. Then this next line works out how much weird substance to pour on. And it's this bit, world size times 2 to the power of my unlocks minus 1. So the more times I've unlocked mazes, the more substance it wants, and the bigger the maze grows. I'll store that in a variable called substance, so I can use the same amount again later. Then I use that much weird substance on the bush. Watch this. There it goes. The bush explodes out into a full hedge maze, covers the whole plot, and my drone's sitting there in the middle of it. Somewhere in there, there's a treasure. Hey guys, just to say, if there's a bit of code you don't understand, drop a message down below and I'll go through it again for you. No problems. If you did something slightly different to me, drop it down below. Share your code. The gold I get is the area of the maze. So the bigger the maze, the bigger the payout. One thing though, even though it's a drone, it can't just fly over the hedges. It's got to fly through the maze, corridor by corridor. So next I need to write something that flies it through and finds the treasure. Before I write the finder, I need one little helper. When the drone flies down a corridor and hits a dead end, it's got to come back out the way it came. And that means flying the opposite direction. So I'll write a tiny function called opposite that just hands me back the reverse of whatever direction I give it. So if I give it north, it gives me back south. Type that in. If it's south, give back north. If it's east, give back west. And anything else, that will be west. So give back east. That's it, 4 lines. And now I can always ask for the way back. Right, now the finder. I'll call it explore. And I'll keep it simple to start, no cleverness. Just send the drone wandering until it bumps into the gold. First thing explore does, check whether the drone's already sitting on the treasure. So if the entity here is the treasure, that's it, we're done. Send back true. If it's not, I want it to try each direction in turn. So I set up a loop for each direction in north, east, south, west. Now one guard first. I don't want it flying straight back the way it just came, or it'll go north, south forever and get nowhere. So I pass in the direction it came from, and I say, as long as this direction isn't the one we came from, have a go. Then I try to move. And the handy thing is, move tells me whether it actually worked. Hedge in the way, move comes back false, drone's gone nowhere. Gap there, move comes back true, it's flown through. So if the move worked, I call explore again from the new square. A function calling itself, that's recursion. The drone flies as far down one corridor as it can, and each new square it asks the same question all over again. And if that call finds the treasure, it hands back true. And I pass that all the way back up, so the whole thing stops. If it didn't find it down there, it's a dead end. So the drone flies back out, using that opposite helper I wrote. Back to the junction, try the next turning, and right at the bottom, if it's tried every direction and nothing worked, return false. Nothing down here. That's about how you do a real hedge maze, isn't it? Follow it till you hit a wall, back to the last junction, try another turning, let's run it, there we go. Wins its way through, backs out of the dead ends, and lands right on the treasure. Done. If you're finding these episodes useful, please like and subscribe to my channel. And remember, turn those notifications on so you get notified when the next episode is dropping. Now, one treasure's not much use. I don't want to regrow a fresh maze every time. I want this thing farming while I'm off making a cup of tea. Turns out there's a trick for that. Instead of just taking the treasure, I pour the same amount of weird substance back onto it. Same substance amount I worked out earlier. That collects the gold and spawns a new treasure somewhere else. in the same maze. So the drone gets to solve it again. No regrowing anything. So I wrap the lot in a while true loop. I say, keep going forever. Run explore, and if it comes back true, that means it found one. So pour the substance on to bag it and respawn the next. And I'll give the drone a little straw hat every time it scores one, just so I can see it ticking over. Set it going, there. Finds one, respawns it, finds the next. Just farming away on its own now. Except watch it after a few goes. See that? It stopped finding them. Just flying round the same little patch, over and over, and it never comes back. Here's why. Every time that treasure respawns, the game quietly takes some of the hedges away, and once you start pulling walls out of a maze, you get loops, paths that curve round and join back onto themselves, and my solver can't cope with a loop. The only memory the drone's got is the one direction it came from, so it can fly in a big circle, come right back onto a square it's already been on, and it hasn't got a clue it's been there, because it never flew back the way it came, it just went round. It's stuck. So I need to give it a proper memory, a list of every square it's already been on. But there's a catch. Each square's got two numbers, an X and a Y, and I want to store each one as a single thing I can check against. So I'll write another little helper called cell. All it does is turn the drone's position into one unique number, X times the world size plus Y. Every square on the plot gets its own number. Type that in. Now I can keep my list. I'll call it scene and I'll pass it into explore. And every time the drone moves onto a new square, I write that square's number down into scene. Right, let's run that. And it's still stuck. Still flying round in circles. And this is the exact bit that got me when I was writing it. So watch, I'm writing every square down into scene, but nowhere in the code am I actually reading it back. The drone's keeping a diary of everywhere it's been, and never once opening it. Writing it down does nothing on its own. I've got to make it check. So here's the line that fixes it. Right before the drone flies onto a new square, I ask, is this square's number already in scene? If it is, it's been there. Don't go. Only fly forward if it's somewhere genuinely new. That's the fix. One little check. Run it now. There it goes. Straight through, no circling. Finds the treasure, respawns it, finds the next, and it just keeps going. No more getting stuck. And that's mazes. Though really, that scene list, a record of everywhere the drone's already been, that's the idea behind pretty much every bit of pathfinding there is. It's what the enemies are using when they chase you round a game map. And notice the fix was smaller than the bug. It usually is. Next week's a big one. We've got fertilizers, we've got mazes, we've got gold coming in, and we put it all together to unlock our mega farm. Codes on GitHub, links below, and the whole series from episode 1's in the playlist. Drop me a comment. What's the first thing you'd point a maze solver at? See you next week for the mega farm.